Live from a Zoom meeting recorded weeks ago, it's Phoenix. Tonight, will Phoenix survive the quarantine? Find out with your co-hosts Emily Astril and professional self-isolationist, your host, Russ Kazmierzak.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Phoenix. Tonight, the podcast, talk show, YouTube series that asks the hard-hitting question, will Phoenix survive the pandemic? Can art and culture at the grassroots level right here in the Valley of the Sun thrive amidst the terror of COVID-19? My name is Russ. Thanks for watching this episode and this series. We really appreciate it. I'm here with my co-host, Emily. Emily, what's happening?
What's up, Russ? I love it. I figured out the pointing thing too. So, Russ, your Instagram handle's right there. Maybe that's also your Twitter, and then
yours
over
is
there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it only took 12 episodes, but we're all pointing in the right direction here.
Yep, we sure are. It's the
and so are
best.
these COVID numbers. Apparently, we're apparently doing the best among the worst states in the country. I mean, that's almost like being the best behaved kid in detention. But
hey, yo, I was that kid. I'm not gonna lie. Emily Astril up in the house was the kid that was in detention, but was the nicest kid.
Right. We're the jock in the letter jacket in the Breakfast Club. It's like, I don't belong here. I shouldn't be here. I mean, that Ducey kind of has that vibe, if you think about it. I'm sure he every now and then dusts off his high school letter jacket, puts it on, and throws fake football passes in his backyard. Doesn't he kind of have that vibe a little bit?
I was more surprised I was more surprised that he did backyard parties. And he looks such like a dad. It was the best. I mean, I know he is a dad, and he's like, but still, it was like, I was like, yo, this is the best.
Well, hey, you know what? That's a good tip of the hat to you kids out there. You know, you think of a backyard party right now, you think of a couple of kegs, and somebody's got a sound system, somebody's doing a little amateur DJing. There's a pool,
the mayor being reckless up in the house, not keeping 6 feet apart. I'm just going with that meme.
Add 30 years to that, it looks like Ducey's backyard party. You have a yellow polo tucked into khaki shorts, and there's a nice folding table. Somebody bought the veggie platter from Costco, and you're having a heck of a time. A couple of summer shandies, and you are having a great time with the governor. You know, I'm actually kind of fascinated with that picture, and I'm using it in my next issue of Amazing Arizona Comics as kind of the springboard for the story. But you know that somebody went to that party with somebody else, or somebody's a friend of a friend, and you're sitting there and you're just enjoying a beer or some food, and you kind of look and you're like, is that the governor? Am I at a party with somebody at that party was like, am I at a backyard party with the governor? And then in your mind, you immediately just think, you're Richie Rich now. You've attained a status, a bougie status that you never put yourself in. But for the rest of your life, if you never see the governor again, wouldn't you lead every conversation with, I hung out with the governor? I hung out in the backyard at a pool party with the governor of the state. I mean, there's nothing, I think it's cool. There's nothing cooler than that. Hanging out with the governor. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know. I think that's one of those things where it's like, I should just go. This is not good for me.
No, I'd get a couple in me. I'd walk by them. I'd say, hey, Doug, listen, let me ask you something. Road work. We have to do that during the day. We have to do that during the work day. We couldn't do road work like 3 a.m. on a Saturday to Sunday. That has to happen when I'm driving to work on a Tuesday. We got to rip up half of Indian School to lay pipe. We couldn't do that like when nobody's driving.
Please don't get started on road work. They should have fixed the freeway when this whole COVID and we were closed for almost 2 damn months. We could have had a beautifully repaved I-10 and I-17. Oh, it would be beautiful.
What an excellent idea. People were struggling for work. Nobody was on the road. Let's get some subcontractors out there and let's start doing this. Let's lay these pipe. Let's repave. What an opportunity missed. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
You really?
I didn't. So the next time,
There was
listen,
memes. There was
powers
memes.
that be. The next time there's a stay-at-home order for any reason, terrorism, pandemic, George Lucas is taking over the Star Wars franchise. For whatever reason, people are going to stay home again in the future. That's pretty good. Take that opportunity, put some fresh asphalt down. That's when you don't even need the traffic aid. You don't even need, nobody's driving. Open pavement, and then May 1st, we come out of our houses. Oh, what's going on in the real world? What's that I smell? Fresh asphalt? Get on the road. Smoothest. I mean, Tucson? Are you listening? Tucson? Those roads?
I like how you had to lay in Tucson.
I mean, come on. Let's get on that Euclid Speedway intersection down there. I don't know if there's, I think that's it.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, I like how you brought in Tucson because it's like, there's the Family Guide episode where, like, Family Guide makes fun of Tucson for being, like, the stupidest city in America or something. And it's like, that could have been us. It was like, we dodged the bullet. Oh, you Tucson, you stay away. I feel bad for any of my friends from Tucson.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it is one of those kind of mentalities sometimes. It's like there's moments when we get mad that Tucson takes our luster, but then there's times we get, like, we're just ecstatic. You're like, you know what? You could keep that. Just keep it.
Sure. Well, hey, I wanted to share a brief story before we brought our guest on because tonight's guest is one of my favorite people in the Valley, and he would have an appreciation for something nerdy like this. As you can tell from my background, and I've mentioned it in past episodes, I'm a big superhero comics guy. I make my own comic. I mentioned it, Amazing Arizona Comics. It all started with this top shelf right here. These are all vintage He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toys. So Mattel has released a commemorative new line of He-Man guys in 2020, and they've finally started hitting shelves. So as I have for many, many years, I spent the weekend on the hunt looking for these He-Man figures, dragging my girlfriend to multiple Walmarts. Apparently they're only at Walmart. We must have gone to 4 or 5 Walmarts in the last 3-4 days. And, with COVID-19, there's no such thing as running into a Walmart anymore. You got to mask up. You get behind the barricades. You get in the line. I don't know why there's a security guard standing there because they're not really taking your temperature, but you have to give this obligatory nod to a guy as you're walking in, guy or girl, and the security guard. You walk in.
They're looking for the, like, old cartoons when they turn green. It's like, we just have, like, the thing. It's like, are you this green? No. Right. Okay, move on. Are you this green? No. Move on.
Home Depot color swatch that they're holding up, and it just says COVID on the bottom, and they're like, you're good. You're good. It feels like that in a way because they're not taking temperatures like they do at the casino. They're just eyeballing you as you're walking in.
You go to the casino. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. But so we've been to multiple Walmarts, and it was interesting. The first few Walmarts we went to, there was no evidence of these figures at all. There weren't price tags for them on the shelves. There was no evidence that they were in Phoenix yet. I only know that they're out on shelves because I've seen fellow collectors on Instagram posting their finds. Oh, look what I found. And they'll be in, like, El Cajon, California, and stuff like that. So I figured, okay, if they're popping up in California, maybe they're here in Phoenix. So we went to a few.
El Cajon, like, not Los Angeles, like a suburb of.
Well, yeah.
You live in a metropolitan city. You technically live in the city, and you can't find this damn thing.
Well, and here's the deal, and this is part of the problem with being a toy collector. I mean, these are some real issues. It's an election year, so we need to talk about this stuff now more than ever. But there are, there's a secondary market for this stuff. So there are toy sellers that go to Walmart or Target or wherever your local toys are sold, and they treat those places like a wholesale warehouse. They buy up all the hot inventory and they immediately throw it on eBay for twice the price, 150%, 200% the price. So people in the Midwest that might not get those shipments from the coasts as quickly as we do, they see that stuff. That's how they, or maybe you don't live near a Walmart. Maybe you don't live near a Target. That's where you go. So we started finding Walmarts that had the price tags on the shelves. It would say, you look at the little price tag at the end of the peg, and it would say, He-Man, MOTU, Masters of the Universe, MOTU, Origins, they're called, MOTU Origins. And so now there was evidence that the pegs were out, and the pegs were completely empty. Oof. And part of me was like, well, maybe they haven't stocked them yet. But I knew in my heart of hearts that I was probably 5 steps behind, the comic book guy from Simpsons type, who's just hoarding them, keeping 1 or 2 for himself, opening one, keeping the other one in the package, putting the rest on eBay, and denying my inner child the opportunity to I just want one open for the shelf. I'll mess with it. I'll mess around with it a couple times. And then it's just going on the shelf, and that's all I want. I want one of each, nothing crazy, not being greedy. I don't want to deny actual children the opportunity to buy these toys as well. If I see a few, I'm only getting one. I'm not buying them all. At $15 a pop, if I wanted the whole set right now, I think that's about $60 plus the vehicle for $30. At Battle Cat's probably $30. I'm looking at $120, $130 investment out the door. First wave, one figure, one figure a piece. That's it. That's it.
Right, I was gonna say though, I don't care, because I used to collect WWE dolls,
sure,
action figures, whatever. I collected some things. I don't mind if you bought one of each. That's different. That's a different thing. That's a totally different thing. But when you buy the whole rack of whatever, that's the thing that kills me. It's like, no, don't do that. You can buy each of one. That's fine. If you have the $300 to do it, do it. I would love to do it. I mean, but it was funny because I would always collect WWE action figures, but I only collected the characters I liked it. But a lot of those characters weren't characters that got figures all the time. And I remember going to Toys R Us when that was still a thing, just fingers crossed, please have, AJ Styles and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They have a 3-pack. And I just need it. And I think that they were one of the bigger popular ones, and they had a bigger internet following. And I just but I knew there was people that were just buying them all outright too. But and it was funny because I remember if I buy them, I'm gonna buy a new ring because I want a nice fresh ring for my next,
Sure.
But it's just one of those things that just I don't blame you if you bought each one piece. Don't mind. Just don't buy all of them of the one item.
Right. So that's what I've been encountering. And, again, we're supposed to be kind of minimizing our recreational activities, I guess. I don't know if that's completely out the window now or what, but because these Walmarts are
don't forget to buy my pro model Risen fingerboards Emily Estrell deck. It's only the deck. Don't forget, this is available at Risen Fingerboards. I'm putting the Instagram tag, be I want Emily Estrell's trans flag board.
Is that real? You have your own franchise board?
Yeah.
Wow.
See my name?
Cool. Very cool. So I went to a Walmart today after work, and I hadn't been to this Walmart yet. It was on the west side of town over at 59th and Bell, actually. And I hesitate to even share which Walmart it is because I don't know if geeks are scouting this show for insider information. But anyway, I went to the Walmart, needed a couple of other things anyway, and went over to the toy aisle. And sure enough, I encountered again the completely empty pegs, the big empty space below where the Prince Adam sky sled should be. And I had a moment. I stood there disappointed, obviously, because I've been looking online too. Walmart.com has, limited stock. It'll say limited stock, 3 in stock, all this stuff. And I don't know if that's in the back or I don't know if
sometimes they'll have them and you have to ask. You'd be like,
you gotta ask. I don't like asking because
neither do I, Russ. Neither do I. Sometimes you gotta cave in.
Yeah, they have a hard enough time showing me where stuff is out on the floor. Now I got to ask him to go in the back and find it. So I'm just standing there like having a moment. What do I even want to? And I'm thinking to myself, do I want to open this can and try to buy these toys and spend the next couple of months going to a Walmart every other day or 2-3 times a week? And you know what I mean? It's just, I used to do that when I was in college. My friends, we'd get the car and we'd hit like 2 Kmarts, 3 Targets, and a Walmart and KB Toys when it was open. And we would make a day of that stuff. And we'd go on the hunt and we'd be buying like Hasbro and Kenner and Playmates toys. That's where a lot of my Ninja Turtles figures came from, old DC superheroes toys from Kenner. So, you know, we had a good time doing that. But now it's like, okay, I'm on my way home from work, or it's 112 degrees outside. So I'm just standing there having this moment. And a guy comes around the corner and he's pushing a cart and he's got the blue Walmart vest on. He's working. Cart's full of toys, mostly girls' toys, a lot of pink boxes. But there I see below 2 of the Prince Adam sky sleds. And I look at the guy and I say, are you shopping or are you restocking? What are you doing? And he kind of mumbles. I couldn't make out what he said. So then I just reached into his cart and I just pulled one of them out and I said, can I have this? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where they go. So I had a moment again where I'm standing there, I'm holding it, I'm like, I got it. And then there's another one. I'm not gonna lie, half a second, I'm like, I should just buy them both. I'll never see these again. Keep one in the package.
That's the thing though, because that like I've experienced that too, where it's like I've been to 2 or 3 stores and it's like, should I buy the other one? Like, I don't like being that asshole. But then it's like, it's not that I'm going to sell it online. I know there's going to be a friend who wants one when I get it. And I show them, I'm like, I have it. Just give me the same amount of money. And
sure.
Yours, you know,
well,
I'm not trying to make a profit.
Yeah, very noble of you. I didn't have that thought at all. I thought I could put this on eBay, double my money. And but I took a look at the package I had picked up. There was a little damage in the corner, and I said to the guy, I don't want to be weird about this. I'm just going to switch these 2. He goes, go ahead, buddy. And he said, everybody collects something. And, you know, he said it in a way, everybody collects something. Almost like, well, okay, everybody collects something. Like, you collect He-Man guys, I get it. And I collect severed human fingers. You know what I mean? The way he said it was like, everybody collects something. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to switch these toys and get the hell out of here. And so I did. I present my very own Prince Adam Sky Sled from the new 2020 line, Masters of the Universe Origins. Very excited about this purchase. The package is beautiful. The toy looks great.
Are you going to be the awesome person and just rip it out of the package and just throw the package in the trash?
Well,
and just
I might if it didn't have great artwork here on the back, just like the vintage line did.
Nice.
You know, when I was a kid, of course, you don't even think about this stuff. You just rip the figure open, you throw it away.
Yeah.
You throw the cardboard away. Your parents don't think twice about it. Sometimes that packaging alone, if it's in decent shape, goes for a pretty penny on eBay. But
well, that's the funny thing with like Japanese things. It's like that's what the funny thing with like Japanese collectibles. It's like half of the value is the fucking box. Sorry.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Like,
well, with these,
that's why I stopped doing those figures.
Yeah. I have some of the backings from these turtle guys, you know, because you'd clip like the file card out too on the back of it. So I think what I'll do is it's packaged cleanly enough where there's like tape here and there. I'll probably just slip the tape, open the flaps, slide it out, try to keep the packaging intact, and then display the figure and keep this just for the back and whatnot. But this takes up a lot of room. You know, if I had all 6 figures and Battle Cat and then this, you know, that takes up 2-3 times more room than the figures themselves. So it gets a little bulky.
You know what, though? You can do a 7 Minutes in Heaven of a child reenactment of someone playing with their He-Man toys.
I certainly... Believe me, Prince Adam will be making an appearance somewhere on a stage sooner or later. But very happy to get
this. I still love that.
And, you know, in the midst of pandemic, in the midst of blistering heat, in the midst of racial and political strife, there is something that can bring us together. And just like in 1984, it is He-Man. So I present this to our viewers as a
did you feel like a child? My question.
Well, every day, but yeah.
But when you saw the package, you're like, oh, there's one.
Oh yeah. Oh, and let me tell you how fanatic I am. If a song, there was music, of course, when you're in a Walmart. If the song had been right, and I don't know, it was just some country song or something. Like if the song had been an '80s song that I liked, or like some cheesy love song, even.
No, better is like in my head, it's a VHS recording like Blade Runner. It has like, what is it, like synthwave music, and it's just like super epic. You just like grabbing this box out of the.
Well, yeah, He-Man fans would know if it was like. Ba, 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 ba. I mean, this is like you can hug it. It's like that kind of size. It's got such a delightful bulkiness to it that the original series had. So I'm glad they didn't skimp on the cardboard. And I didn't know that. I mean, I've seen this online, but I haven't seen the details where you could snap on these other pieces and make this a villain's vehicle.
Yeah.
So it can go from Prince Adam's Sky Sled to Skeletor's War Sled. I had no idea. So that was a nice surprise. I mean, there's just art everywhere on the box. Under the flap, there's some activity there. You see Tila here on the front. That's cool. When you turn the box, you realize she's fighting Beastman there.
Nice.
So it's cool. I might do an unboxing video for this.
Nice.
Just to celebrate the find. And of course, there's much more to find in this series, but at least I at least know now that they're in the valley, and maybe all the wholesalers, the secondary market guys, the toy dealers, they found them, they got them, and now what's left on the pegs is for the real fans. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on that.
Well, I hope so, because I mean, like I said, I've been through those woes. Like, I besides like WWE figures, for me it was like anime figures, and I stopped collecting those. Those things were starting to get really expensive. And the funny thing was, like, I actually liked a lot of mainstream shows, but a lot of those mainstream shows didn't really get figures that much, and they cost a good penny to get decent ones. Like a anime I like to watch is Fooly Cooly and Samurai Champloo. I think I said it right. If you found a figure of those things, it was just like $150, like, and it's not even, it's just a figure. It's just, it has a pose or something. And it's like with the WWE things, I used to like them because they were remaking the early '90s, late '80s WWE figures, the little smash ones, and the retro. I was like ecstatic because I remember as a kid growing up, like those were cooler, especially the ring, and they were remaking the ring too. At least I could be like, oh, Undertaker does something to whoever, no name guy, and get my Luke Skywalker to get body slammed or choke slammed.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I forgot that that's what I was playing with. You need to buy one of these things, so when you're like pointing, you could be like, yeah.
Oh, nice. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
This is my trans flag, as you can see.
Yeah, be like back here. We have Bucky O'Hare back here, flanked by Toxic Crusaders. Yeah, right. I can do that. Sure.
Okay. I don't know. I was playing with it, but yeah, I love your ambition to find the thing, because it just shows that you still care. You still, you still like what you do. You still love what you collect and all these other things, and you wanted to revamp. Are they revamps, or they're like their own things but in traditional styling?
Well, yes and no. What it says is modernizing and celebrating the original '80s Masters of the Universe action figures. This series gives you the power to pose Eternity's greatest heroes as retro-style figures or in new action-packed battle positions. So the deal is they have similar sculpts and body types to the original He-Man figure, the classic. I think they call it the five-point figure, 5 points for articulation, the head, arms, and legs.
Yeah.
But then they have modernized points of articulation. So, theoretically, this guy has like 30 points of articulation or more. And I could, put him in all the poses that as kids, we just imagined. So, yeah, that will definitely happen. This figure will come out of the box here very soon. He will take every form. He will, probably go, I'll bust out like a yoga handbook, and I'll just go through that and put him in all the poses, and then put him on the shelf and never touch him again. So that's basically.
Okay. Well, at least you'll have fun with it. You're gonna take it out of the box. You're gonna see its capability, have fun with it, put it on the shelf. And it's always funny because I know someone's like, well, a kid can have fun with it. It's like, some kids, they get toys and that toy probably gets 2 weeks of play and then ends up in whatever, and a box. So,
Right.
Yeah, mad respect. I love,
Thanks,
that you had this epic story to find this and it just rolled right in front of you, technically.
Well, and that's what was remarkable is if I hadn't stood there in this pseudo shock, I would have walked away, and then seconds later he would have come around the corner. It almost would have been like a scene in a movie where you just miss that thing. But I stood there, and that's why it was worth telling, because if you want me to pull the lens back and find the human lesson in that, it's be still. Sometimes the thing we're searching for does come to us instead of us, frantically trying to find it. And that is a very deep lesson for a very shallow story. So,
I like it regardless. It's cool to me. I'm just ecstatic. And it is our cut time. We do have to introduce. So you know what to do, Russ. Time to
absolutely. We're talking about we're talking about kids at heart, and our guest tonight is actually a great representation of that, in my opinion. He is a local poet and performer, puppeteer, comic book artist. He's illustrated some amazing comics and comic strips that we will talk about. I highly respect what he's been doing in the Valley for as long as I've known him, these past 8-9 years, just seeing the way he's impacted local culture. Couldn't be a nicer guy either. He certainly has the talent to boast a bit of ego, but you'll probably see that he's super humble, and I'm very interested to see what his thoughts and reactions are in the midst of this pandemic as a creative. Coming up next, we have Tommy Cannon, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, here he is, Tommy Cannon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. With the three of us present in one Zoom meeting, I think that's only 2 shy of the audience we had when you were a guest at the live Phoenix tonight. So thanks for being a repeat offender here with us.
Oh, well, of course. Thanks for turning the other cheek and taking another slap. That's great.
So what have you been up to in the midst of this pandemic as a creative? We've been talking to folks about the challenges and the successes of fulfilling their projects and dreams, just as they were prior to this thing starting, but in new and different ways. How have you found this experience so far in your multifaceted creative life?
I took the weirdest superhero I ever thought of for my sketchbooks, and I pulled it out of the sketchbook and put it into 2 short stories. One is a short story contest being run by Webtoon, and the other one is a short story I did for Freaky Magazine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about the one on Webtoons. I really liked that one.
Oh, yeah. It's Nevrodactyl. I think that is Greek, meaning mind or neuro finger, because he's the cosmic defender of finger puppets. That's
nice.
What he does. Yes, he defends finger puppets with his superpowers. The one on Webtoon is the short story of him landing on a planet where 2 giant double-jointed knuckleheads are attacking the finger puppets and putting them on their heads and forcing them to be their eyes. And then Nevrodactyl, he takes care of business.
Absolutely.
And then I made another Nevrodactyl story for Freaky Magazine issue 4, which is forthcoming. So, oh man, Freaky Magazine is great. It's made by Andrew Goldfarb. He's like the lead creator and editor of this magazine. He's also known as the Slow Poisoner. He's a one-man band, and he's great at comedy that's freaky. He lives up to the title of his own magazine, Freaky.
Cool. Yeah, because freaky has many connotations nowadays, but when we were kids, it generally meant like gross out, weird, mutant, right? So it's nice to see somebody
Just
retaining the spirit of that.
Leaning into that end of the word freaky. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, less body harness, ball gag,
Right.
Leash collar kind of freaky.
Yeah, more mutant beatnik making abstract art, Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very good.
I'll take that. Where are you going, Russ?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm leaving it there. I'm leaving that behind and celebrating the other.
He's leaving that behind. Oh.
Yes, got Russ.
I was going to say I let it slip, but
Oh
Lord. So listen, those are great projects, and I'm a fan, but we've been in the midst of this thing now for what, 5-6 months?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious, when it first started and the stages started closing, you're an improv performer as well. What were you thinking at that time? Kind of take us back to mid-March, April.
Man.
What was your mentality going in?
It was, I just thought it was over. I just thought it was going to be done. Then I started seeing things like what you're doing right now. The Torch Theater was broadcasting Zoom meetings on Twitch. And the Second Beat Theater, they're doing stuff on Facebook Live, putting Zoom meetings on there. And Improv Mania has been doing stuff with YouTube and Facebook Live as well. So it's been streaming. Streaming is the way.
This is the future, it seems. Kind of a pseudo public access vibe. Again, kind of going back to when we were kids, we all looked at that as, ooh, we can make our own show. Now it's like we have no choice.
Yeah. Now we have to do it without the VHS tapes somehow.
Right. I'd love to adjust the tracking on this somehow, but that's how you could always tell. Those VHS tapes were kind of the narcs when it came to, kind of a fleeting soft-core scene in an R-rated movie. If you as a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid rewound and watched that scene over and over again, and then you're watching that movie later with friends, and that scene gets a little wonky with the lines and whatnot.
They see it's warped a little bit, yeah.
Now
we know.
Oh, no.
We didn't have in-private browsing on our VHS tapes, okay? So
I know. I live in the world of DVDs.
Spoiled.
Now we know why Russ likes the Porky's series of films so much.
Any movie where there's just a gaggle of 6 topless women running through like a shower or a locker room or something like that. That was almost a genre in and of itself.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
So very good, man. Now, what is your role at the Puppet Theater? Are you an administrator there?
Yes, I am. I'm officially their office administrator, but it's kind of like a circus mentality. You do everything you're able to do to help them push forward.
Sure.
They've been doing something very interesting. They do have digital products like uploading or streaming shows, but they also are doing a live show. They're doing drive-in puppet shows where people park in our parking lot. We play the sounds of the puppet show to their FM radio dial and do the show out on the grass in front of the parking lot. So
nice.
Instead of a drive-in movie, you've got a drive-in puppet show.
That's very cool. Have they, the past few weeks, they've been doing that, or?
Yeah, they've been doing it for maybe a month and a half now or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Is there any talk or strategy as to how to resume the proper in-theater productions? Or?
Yeah, we get sent a lot of ideas from people, and puppeteers are having Zoom meetings with each other. They're asking each other, what are you doing to reopen? What are you doing while we're not open and all that? So there's a lot of dialogue happening back and forth amongst the puppeteers of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. This might be a silly question, but it just came to me as we were talking. You know, the Muppets have a new show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And if you, have a ma and pa coffee shop and there's a Starbucks, and you're like, that's not real coffee. Do puppeteers look at the Muppets, like contemporary Muppets, like that's not real puppeteering? Or is there a reverence?
Oddly enough, no. In so many other things, like independent wrestling, people go, "Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, what a sellout," or something.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Jim Henson, everyone has great things to say about Jim Henson. They might be critical of the individual projects that have come out using his characters after his death, but Jim Henson himself is seen as pretty well regarded. Yeah.
Cool. So his legacy lives through I haven't watched the new series yet.
Oh, it's just one episode so far. I've seen it. It's pretty good. It's weird.
That's what I heard.
I like it. I like my Muppets weird, so
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Did you watch the show they had on ABC, the short-lived kind of 30 Rock style show they made?
I did not see that one. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the idea of it. It was basically like a 30 Rock behind the scenes of maybe not the Muppet Show, but a Muppet Show.
Okay.
And so, kind of the handy cam or whatever you call that, kind of documentary style. They were doing a lot of that.
What they did on The Office.
Yeah, it was a lot like that, or Community, or those kind of shows. The only thing that bothered me a bit was there was no Rolf to be seen for many episodes, and to me, he's a key player.
Yeah,
so
he's like one of the foundations of that whole thing. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, I remember being disappointed in that. The show didn't last very long, and I think that might be why. So.
Got to get Rolf in there.
Absolutely. So. Is he in the new show? Fingers crossed. Was he in?
I don't think he was in this first episode. We'll see.
What is going on?
Hey, Henson Workshop, listen up. Get Rolf in there.
Absolutely. I mean,
do a piano tutorial.
That'd be great. And at home, playing the piano with Rolf. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so what's on your? I think I know why. Because technically, I think I remember this. It's like technically, even though it was a puppet, it is animal cruelty.
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah, it was like some weird stuff like that.
Oh, because is it cruelty to animal? Because animal wants to be featured more, and so Rolf had to get his time cut?
That could be. So.
You don't want animal cruelty on the Muppets.
Nope. Those chains are broken. Animals free.
He needs his chains back. I mean, it's funny thing. I've been watching old Kermit the Frog when he was on Sesame Street. And I always like the ones where he's yelling at a Cookie Monster. Those are the best ones. Oh, yeah. I love them. And I'm not even a part of that generation, but I found them by accident. It was just like, whoa, these are really funny and cool.
Well, it's classic comedy. You've got Cookie Monster, who has zero impulse control, and then you've got Kermit, who's totally a control nut.
That's true.
You pair them together and you get comedy magic.
Absolutely. I never thought about that. Kermit on his own, without being next to Jim, when it's Kermit amidst the Muppets, he is the consummate straight man, and everybody's playing off of his professionalism.
Yep.
I mean, I never consciously thought of that, but that's absolutely a huge part of the comedy dynamic there.
He's the foundation holding that house up, man.
Absolutely. So what's on your drawing board right now, Tommy, as we're going out of summer into fall, hopefully sooner than later? What are you working on?
Well, I've got, I didn't spot my blacks here, but I've got the Nerdy Chupacabras. That's my new comic that I'm doing for the Two Gay Geeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I did 104 comics of Dr. Zombie Monster Family Physician. And I was like, I think that's enough doctor jokes. So
you don't want to pull a Dilbert and just continue going and
Right. Yeah.
With
Yeah, it's
engineering
like,
jokes.
I don't want to pull a Dilbert.
Nobody's
So I
gotten more
changed
out of a
it to
cubicle than
right.
Scott
Yeah.
Adams. Cool, cool. Well, while we got you on the horn, I guess just for my own amusement, I'd love to hear some of your, and feel free to be as brief or long-winded as you'd like, but you're so multifaceted in your creativity, again, from improv comedy to comics to puppeteering. And even as you talk about all the strips that you're working on, it just seems like if the thought comes to your mind, eventually you do it. Is there anything that's sitting in your sketchbook still that has yet to be, mined and exploited?
Yeah. I have like roughed out like maybe 20% of a graphic novel called Ghost Donut Party. It's a story of these 4 ghosts who started their own donut shop, and so I've been kind of roughing in with ballpoint pen on this one notebook here, like stuff that happens to them. So here's like,
Yeah.
and this
Classic
is going to
college
take forever. Don't hold your breath for this to come out, but like,
oh, nice.
Nice.
yeah. And so, here's the ghosts. And yeah, whenever I've got like a free moment, oh, this is where they're making freaky frosting. They're freaky again. So they run into problems with the frosting, and they're trying to solve their frosting problems and all this jazz. I don't know. It probably just looks like scribbles, which they pretty much are. But oh yeah,
it looks
here we
fun
go.
in the notebook. I mean, that's how it was done. That's how we did it.
That's how we do it. Yeah, that's how we did it when we were kids.
And we didn't really think about scanning those pages. Those were the pages. That was the book.
Right. Yeah.
When we were kids.
Exactly. We didn't even have access to a copy machine. You wanted another copy, you just drew another one. Be as exact as you could.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time if you had this experience, Tommy, do you remember the first time you walked into like a Kinko's and thought to yourself, I'm a publisher now? Did you ever have that?
No, I never had that thought. No, I didn't have the vision like you do.
Oh. Well, it was a vision I had when I was 18, hence my referencing Kinko's, which I think has been absorbed into FedEx for the last 20 years. But
pretty much, yeah.
When this whole thing started, I had a little bit of a creative drought. I had a few things I was working on, but new ideas weren't coming as quickly as I would have liked them to, considering the rapid developments that were going on in culture and politics and just kind of society in general, Tommy. So I'm kind of curious, do you get writer's block? Do you have advice or exercises to share for folks that are stymied by this time?
I was actually having some writer's block on Fred the Mustard Packet. So I did I did this exercise I made up kind of with improv in mind as well, is where I give myself 1 minute to write down 10 words and then use one of those words. So I and this one hasn't come out yet, but in my list of words was the word onion. And I realized, I never had Fred talk to an onion ring before. So that, boom, creative block solved. I
absolutely
showed a walking, talking onion ring talking to Fred. So yeah, that's one of my pieces of advice, is to like have a list of words. And then if you're still stuck, like I got it with onion, but if you're still stuck, take 2 of those words that you just wrote down and put them together. Like
interesting.
If I wrote down like flamingo and onion, then like you've got an onion flamingo. So you could like, I don't know, have a bloomin' onion that is somehow the feathers of a flamingo. I don't know. I'm not talking about getting good ideas. I'm just talking about getting ideas.
Yeah, just
of varying qualities.
quantity over quality at this point.
Exactly. And then I also just like, and I do this all the time with Fred the Mustard Packet just because of the nature of that comic. But a good way to end creator's block is to have a talking object. In this article that I wrote just on my own volition, I put up the example of, what about a talking hammer? You could make a nice puppet slam piece about a talking hammer. What would that hammer have to say to you? What would you say to a hammer that could talk? You know?
Wow.
So just take an object and have it speak its truth.
Sure. What a great idea, because that could go in a lot of different directions. Obviously, there's a great potential for humor, but you never know if you come across a real tender hammer, you know, a hammer with a poet's soul or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
That's great. Wow. So what do you think is the, I mean, obviously the nature of COVID-19 is going to be with us for a while, but what do you think the future of the Phoenix art scene at this level? What do you think the future holds? I mean, are we kind of destined for better or worse to Zoom and Twitch, or do you think that there will be some innovation and evolution that'll get us out of this and introduce something new?
I think we're going to be doing Zoom for longer than we want, for sure. I think we're going to end up with smaller audiences with like more distance between people. That's the next step probably. And then Spanish flu eventually stopped being a pandemic. So when this COVID is finally run its course or whatever, then we're going to probably slightly go back. We'll get bigger audiences, smaller spaces in between. Like we're just going to, I think it's going to be like a water drip back into like more what it used to look like. Sure.
I wonder if a renaissance will follow because of the appreciation for more things to do. You know, I was joking around about audience size when we started, but to bring it full circle, we might see folks considering shows like the ones we do in ways they wouldn't have before, simply because they've been cooped up for so long, you know?
Yeah. People will be looking at the things that they've been seeing online and going, you know, we always meant to go to that thing and we never did. We might go this week or right now, just because like you don't know when the next thing's gonna hit. So
let's go before they shut us down again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel about Chipotle, though. So I mean, I'll tell you what. When this thing started and we were ordering in, as John Legend insisted that we do, when that first Chipotle steak burrito bowl arrived, it was like finding a message in a bottle. I was on a stranded island and like a bottle washed up on shore. You know, I mean, it was just I smelled the bouquet of the Chipotle steak bowl.
Yeah.
I savored every bite. It was just a taste of the old world, you know?
You appreciated it like it was a fine wine, huh?
Absolutely, I did. I swished that queso in my mouth, you know, and then I spit it out. It was, fantastic. So, what do you, anything you miss, Tommy, and then anything you're surprised you don't miss?
Let's see. I definitely miss going to someone's house for a game night. I miss the live audience experience for sure. Let's see. What don't I miss? I don't miss bars. I thought I would miss hanging out at the bar a lot, but it turns out I don't. You have that same thing, Emily?
Yeah, I do. And the funny thing is, like, I'm still an aspiring like DJ / producer type person. I do miss the party atmosphere, but at the same time, I kind of don't. Like, I just miss the energy of playing music live. But that came with does that seem? You know, like I think that's why I admire a lot of other people who get to do certain entertainment in front of a crowd. It's about just the entertainment, not just getting boozed up in the entertainment. You know,
Right.
you get to separate the two. And it's kind of funny because like I was going to the bars almost 4 times a week just for it, and now I'm like, I don't miss it. Like, to be honest, it's kind of fun. It's kind of, you're the first person I've actually ever heard that from.
Oh
Like, I
man.
don't miss the bar. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? No, you're the second person. A friend of mine that I go running with, she says it all the time too. She's just like, you know, I don't miss it. I don't like losing $100 a night or something. Like, there's a lot of
Right.
benefits. I mean, there's people probably getting out of debt right now because they're not going to the
Right.
bar.
Yeah, because they're not going to the bar. Exactly.
It's true. Wow. Cool. Well, Tommy, where can people find these myriad projects of yours?
Okay. Look up Fred the Mustard Packet at Webtoon.
Cool. Okay.
It's the only one called Fred the Mustard Packet. There's no. You could find me at Tommy Cannon on Twitter, or at Tommy T-shirt Cannon on Instagram.
Cool.
I'm Tommy.Cannon.140 on Facebook.
Cool. And
you're gonna have
our
so much
friend-
fun, Russ, with all the links. I get to just put them on the screen. I just put the Instagram ones on our screen, but maybe you'll be the first
cool.
where I'll put a Twitter and an Instagram.
Oh
Ooh.
man.
Ooh.
Nice.
We're upgrading up here.
Get ready for those trolls, Tommy. They're coming in mass.
Why do you hate the bar so much? You're anti-American.
Bar's the cornerstone of American culture. They built the courthouse, then they built the bar. You know, it's true. It is true that, like, when they talk about the stuff that's going to close and stay closed, and here's how the businesses need to operate, they're always talking about bars. They never mention the libraries. You notice that? It's an interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
It is very interesting. It never occurred to me how bar-centric we were. You know, I hate saying the words culture and society all over again, but we were just so bar-centric as a people.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. I keep hearing that one of the biggest cultural events is the day before Thanksgiving, because that's when people are getting off their flights, seeing their family, and then they all go to the bar because it's not Thanksgiving yet. Yeah.
Right. That's true. We've St. Patrick's Day suffered.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah, man.
4th of July, and boy, Labor Day weekend's coming up. I guess that would be another, end of summer, big drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Binge. Wow.
All the 3-day weekends.
All the 3-day weekends, yeah. How is Maroon 5 going to survive the pandemic? I can't think of 3-day weekends without thinking of, a Maroon 5 song in the background for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Tommy, I'm a big fan of everything you do. I couldn't wait to get you on because I knew you'd have some fun insight into everything we've been experiencing. And I hope folks look at your projects, absorb your work, enjoy it as much as I do, find entertainment. Because really that's what you're offering first and foremost, it seems. Just good laughs, a good time. And it really is the kind of stuff that reminds me of the things we dug when we were kids. Speaking of which, I gotta boast a little bit. Look what I bought today.
Oh man. Oh, Mama Pajama, look at that beautiful thing.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, that is great. Oh,
you know how many
man.
Walmarts I've been to in the last 3 days trying to track these things down?
Holy cow, really? Walmart?
They're right now at Walmart. I've been to 6 Walmarts throughout the valley, and I found one today at 59th and Bell. So
you didn't even tell me that.
Oh yeah, I was out there. I left work and kind of took the long arc home west instead of straight through or east, and
I'm gonna go
finally found
this way before I go home.
Yeah, so I thought you'd appreciate that. I know you're a
Yeah, that's awesome.
fan, and we have mutual friends that are
I am.
fans.
Here's
Cool.
a bootleg one that was made in the form of a superhero I helped my friend create, Supersonic Soul.
Oh yes,
Nice.
that is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of motion comics about this guy out there.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, the Motion Comics Film Festival. Any thoughts or strategies for that in the future?
Man, I got to wrap my hand around it. We did better when we had it at the Torch. I think more central would be good for that if I were to
Sure,
do that again.
sure. Yeah, Kirby's birthday is a couple weeks away, and I'm a
Ooh,
little bit at a loss as to what to do. I mean, obviously, something like this is what feels
yeah,
natural, but he was such an outside of the box guy that it feels weird to just do a Zoom or a podcast. I'm trying to think of what else can be done, but
We could do a
I don't know
Twitch
yet.
marathon and just invite random guests.
We'll see. This is a unique opportunity to maybe get a few folks in the industry to contribute maybe a minute or two's worth
oh,
of video,
that would be cool.
yeah, so it would be us locals with the likes of maybe like a Joe Eisma or an Eric Larson or somebody that might have a few spare moments in the spirit of Kirby to share with us. That's a thought. Requires work, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But this would be year 6, I believe, and I don't want to let the torch die out just because a pandemic that in
right.
some
Yeah,
ways is Kirby-esque. So
it is.
Hmm.
It is.
absolutely. So all righty, Tommy. Thanks again for being on this episode of Phoenix Tonight with us. We're just going to wrap it up right here and now as we do.
Thank you
Thanks for
very
tuning in,
much.
everybody. You can find us here at the Casbro Productions YouTube page, and we'll catch you next time. Cool.
Awesome.
That's it.
All right. Thank
Tommy,
you,
thank you
Russ.
very
Thank you,
much.
Emily.
When do you think we'll put this up? We might put this up next week because we just did 2. So this might
Put
go
it
up.
up tomorrow? Oh no, Thursday? I don't know.
Yeah, let's spread them out a little bit. But
Okay.
as soon as it's up, Tommy, I'll send you a link. And
All right. Thanks.
cool.
You've got a bank, huh? You've got a bank of episodes?
This is going to be episode 13.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a guest.
I actually 12 because I consider the pitch as like a special, but I don't know what you.
I did number it though.
That's okay.
I numbered
it.
it. Yeah, we had a guest bail, so we which in this virtual world, I guess, is easier to do in some ways, but then also there's kind of no excuse because you're home. I know you're home, so. But in lieu of the guest, we did about a 45-minute brainstorm session on what a real trans superhero comic would be like if it were targeting, somebody like me, an old school traditional comic book guy that doesn't want to be fed an agenda, but is open-minded and an ally and whatever to anything, everything. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, what would a comic that presents a trans superhero, what should it feel and be like? So we talked about that for like 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
In lieu of an interview.
That'd be a great discussion to hear. Yeah, for sure.
It was kind of cool. Yeah. A big part of the conversation was like, how far into the story do you go before you reveal to the audience that they're reading about a trans superhero in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be a heavy-handed reveal, but it should be something that it shouldn't be a heavy-handed reveal. It should be something that kind of comes naturally in the evolution of the character. So you learn a few things about her past, and then you realize as well, or then you see as well that she's trans. It's just that kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to like a Batwoman that's like
when Shadowhawk first took off his mask to reveal he was a black person. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And Spawn was similar when they flashed back and you realized he was a black guy too, prior to becoming Spawn. Absolutely. Yeah, something very similar to that, where it would be natural. And then some of the stuff we were talking about too was how like in the midst of a Marvel-esque style romance, and our hero always wonders if she should reveal her identity to her romantic interest. What do you reveal first? That you're a superhero or that you're trans? And then you kind of got to debate which duality is the smaller bomb to drop. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to read a story like that.
That would be good.
It's just, it's the challenges of it as much as the celebration of it and the eventual normalcy of it,
Yeah.
So,
well, I think for us we kept talking about it though, is like a lot of the other, LGBT comics, it's like, it seems like they're forced upon. It's like, these are the 5 and this one and this one and this one. And we're like, can we like lay back on that idea and just let the readers, let us slowly build the community also like on this character, like a normal superhero, instead of like telling the world, it was like everything was like a slow way. Cause I think that was like the big shot for, like what happened with one of Marvel's or DC's comics. Like they had a full-fledged like LGBTQ like Justice League or they had like their own version. It was like so fast. It's like they were given everything. And it was like, okay, it's gonna work. And it's like, I remember thinking about it. I'm thinking about my 40-year-old friends who read comics to this day. It's like, wow, you're gonna just force this on us and expect us to like it. Like, it was really like telling the short story of them really fast and then moving on.
Sure.
Okay.
We want to build that story like a traditional comic. That was like the main
push.
Yeah, not like a look what we did or premiering in this episode, America's first trans superhero,
Right, yeah.
Have that blurb on the cover. It would be something that you just kind of realize, like you would realize, oh, Peter Parker's a nerd, or oh, you kind of realize that, trying to think of another, like,
well, besides that, we still want to have fun. Like, we want to have like cheesy.
Like you realize, Beast Boy is vegan. It doesn't come at you like America's vegan superhero, Beast Boy.
Right.
He's just a part of his character that comes out over time. So.
Sure. Yeah.
But then we did have. I know Tommy will appreciate this. We did have an idea for a villain. Cat Call. Who's
that's one of our cheesy characters.
You gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Who emits a sonic blast via demeaning tones, so he's crippling his foes with a sonic whistle and blast, like, ah!
It hurt me twice.
Oh, you should see my smile in the video. Like, I'm like, we have to have some cheesy like villains. Yeah. I'm sorry, like we just have to.
Right. Oh yeah. Because if it's all heavy-handed, it rebukes the original point. You got to have the.
There's another villain, the heavy-hander.
Right.
Thank you.
His last name is Weinstein, but.
Oh.
Hey-oh.
Oh shit.
All right. I think that'll be a wrap. Thanks
cool.
again.
Good
Tommy,
job,
really
crew.
appreciate your time, man. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Much.
You got it.